packaging by the window because technical issues. And today I already put the topic in there, so you see this, you probably know what I'm talking about already. Well, I'm here to tell you to put your phone down. Quite frankly, put your phone down. I realized recently that if sometimes I made a plan for a certain day and then something in the previous day didn't go as planned or was done differently, it would affect the entire next day. And for me, that something would be maybe um, hanging out longer than I intended to, or being on my phone longer than I intended to. Whatever it was just that knowing that anytime that I did something, say I had a plan today to be somewhere by 8:30 a.m. If I wasn't asleep early enough, I would wake up late, which would affect the time that I come on the live, which would affect my focus and speed in the morning, which would eventually result in my getting somewhere late. And in tracking that, this is not a recent discovery actually. In tracking that, I realized that it has to start with the personal place of my own discipline. Um, and in tracking that further deeper, I realized that a lot of the things that are causing dysregulation, a lot of the negative emotions that I feel come from the things that I've consumed. I know I have spoken about guarding your gates on these lives frequently too. I've spoken about guarding your gates. I've spoken about guarding your ear gates, eye gates, what you hear, what you see, what you listen to, which eventually results in how you guard your mouth gate because what you consume is what you bring out. And so if you're saying or doing certain things, it's because you are already listening to or watching certain things. And this is always true, by the way. It doesn't matter how, what's the word I'm looking for, disciplined you are. It doesn't matter how centered you are. It doesn't matter how well behaved you are. It doesn't matter how set in your ways you are. If you continue to watch certain things, I give an example. Um, I've spoken about loving Korean content a lot, and there's this group that I love to watch, and these guys they use curse words a lot. I didn't know in Korean, of course. I didn't know when I started saying that in Korean, like I, and then if you know Korean, you know what follows, you know. And I found myself just starting that. I'm like, oh my god, no, we do not do that here, right? But it always starts with what you're allowing into your gate. It always starts. And that informs a lot of things. It informs, in fact, it's a subtle determinant of what becomes your personal culture. It could be something you saw someone do online. It could be something you saw someone put in their house. It could be some way you saw someone cook online. But either ways, it's affecting a lot. And so, for something that is affecting you so much, there needs to be a care as to how you relate with or engage with this thing. So, what that means is you're not just blindly watching everything, consuming everything. Um, if you find that your emotions are dysregulated, I know usually I come here and I do the Bible stuff, but this is what came to mind first today. And there are actually scriptures to tie to this, but focus, focus, focus. So, if you feel like your emotions are not regulated or something, this might be why. Because when you're scrolling social media, I noticed that recently as well. You see a video that says this is all the good stuff happening in the world. It talks about some um some animal or entity that was becoming extinct being officially safe from extinction after scientists worked on this project for like the past 12 years. Then the next thing you see is news of somebody bombed somebody and there's 250 people dead, and next thing you see somebody announcing their wedding anniversary. So your emotions are constantly going up, down, up, down, up, down. Even if you feel like you're desensitized and this is just scrolling, there's a response, there's a subconscious response inside of you, and that feeds it, that does something to your mind. So your emotions are going this way, this way, this way, and that alone is enough to affect your stability as a person. It's enough to affect um how stable, how centered you feel. And as weird as it is, because I'm saying this on social media, and this could be a life that anyone watching found while scrolling the same way. So it feels like I'm countering myself, but I'm saying that the things that you're gonna do on these devices, let them be things that actually edify you. The things that you consume on your phone, let them be things that edify you. And you need to desensitize. Something that I love about my favorite Bible character, which is David. If you've been watching these lives for, I don't know, the past 6 months now, you know this. It's 5 months, past 5 months now, you know this, right? David is the absolute greatest celebrity to me. And something that David did a lot was that he went away a lot. He stayed by himself a lot, you know. And it's the same thing. Moses did that a lot. He went away. I mean, when they go away, they go be with themselves, be with God. Jesus did that too. He went away a lot, you know. All these people spent a lot of time. Abraham went away a lot, spent a lot of time praying, spent a lot of time in meditation, spent a lot of time in just being by themselves and centering themselves. And you need that. You need that. You need to be centered. Um, and I'm not saying this as a introvert who just enjoys being by myself. That is like the most interesting thing to me, by the way. Just sitting and being by myself. I'm not saying that from that POV. I'm saying it from the fact that for every time that you engage something, you need a moment to center yourself. For every time that you spend hours on social media, you need that detox. And you don't need it to build up before you detox. You need that detox in immediately. So in the same day, if you're gonna spend, I don't know, 2, 3 hours on your phone for some reason, then you detox from it as well. My screen time is crazy, but that's because I put up content a lot. I create content across plenty accounts. So my screen time is crazy. I'm also always like editing stuff on CapCut, cutting stuff and all of that. Yesterday I cut stuff on CapCut. That was an unnecessary statement to make. My point is, I spend a lot of time right on my phone. So I'm not saying you can't spend a lot of time on your phone. I'm saying when you spend a lot of time consuming content, you need to put your phone down and detox. Because true talk, it's messing with your mental health. And that is not the will of God. The will of God, you know, is that you should prosper. That scripture says, this was a letter that Paul was writing to his people, where he says it too. He says, I wish above all things that you prosper and you be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So when you spend all that time consuming content, consuming some content is warm and fluffy, some content is toxic, some content questions your belief, your fundamental beliefs, your culture, your personal culture and practices. All of it is in that mix. It's in that potpourri of information. And when you consume all that, there's something going on in your mind at every single time. If you're listening to this or watching this, there's something going on in your mind right now. When you're done, it might be one sentence that I say, it might be a phrase that I say, but something will stick and it will mix in with all the other stuff that you're hearing. Now, if you're hearing more stuff like this, it will influence your actions. If you're hearing more stuff that is discouraging or messing with your mind, it will also influence your actions. It will also influence the state of your mind. It will also influence your mental state of being. So you'll find that you might find that you are living the normal life. You're going to school or working your job. You're with your family. You're doing life, but still there's just some sort of sorrow in the middle of all that, at the bottom of all that. You might find that Grim Reaper, yes, yes, I am black. So you might find that that happens, right? And so you need to do the serious work of ensuring that you don't consume the wrong things. You need to do the serious work of mental management. You need to do the serious work of watching what you allow into your headspace, watching what you allow into your mind space, watching what you allow into your subconsciousness. It's very important that you do that work, you know. And it starts with what you see, what you consume. What you see will determine what you do. Even to take it to scriptures, right? Even Jesus said it. The things that I see my Father do, I do. Every person is doing something they've seen someone else do before. Every person alive, every person walking, talking, breathing, living is doing something they've seen someone do. And if you sit down, if you sit down, if there could be digging into your mind and memory scape, you would see that you can trace one action. You can trace it. You may be able to trace it, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of interactions back or experiences back, but you would see that that thing that you're doing started from something you saw somewhere. I read a book and it talked about how the actions that we have today is largely influenced by our background, the first 10 years of your life, the things that you saw your parents do. So if the first 10 years of your life affect your personality, then you grow up and the next, I don't know, 70 years of your life, you're watching some stuff on social media, especially now. I mean, when I was young, feels weird to say, but when I was young, um, there weren't phones. The phones came into, there were landlines in Nigeria. We had landlines in the house. So mobile phones came around when I was, I think, almost a teenager. And so I did not grow up with that. I grew up reading books. I grew up, so it's a bit different in my head. But I'm saying today, everyone has a mobile phone. Everyone has access to the internet. Everyone has access to this influx of information. But you need to be able to put that phone down and detox. You need to be able to stay away from content that does not edify you. You need to be able to protect your gates and decide what you're listening to, what you're seeing on a daily basis, what you're consuming. It's very important. It's very important. I found out something not recently, but I found this out, just in the course of living because I don't know when exactly, but it's something I know. And it's that if you hear something long enough, you don't have to know it. You don't have to learn it to know it. What I mean is, if every day some one of my neighbors, for instance, plays a certain song on his speakers every day, and the song is filled with, I don't know, a lot of bad words, profane words, empty boasting, stuff like that. And I'm in my house here. This is my office, so I'm working. I'm not engaging, but I'm always here, and I hear it every day. One day, it's gonna be playing it, and I will hum along to it. Oh, for me, I even have ears for music, so it will not take me very many days. It might take me 2 or 3 days at most to start singing along. If I can hear the lyrics clearly, I'm gonna start saying the lyrics. It doesn't matter what the lyrics say. It will come from a subconscious place. It will come from a subconscious place. I mean, there are so many songs that I've never listened to personally that I know. There's a song that was trending. Most Nigerians know this song. Na, 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 Cinematic, ladies taking me photo, something like that. I have never played that song in my life. I've never been in a place where that song was, you know, played, maybe like at a party and they were playing it and I was vibing. No. I've only heard it in passing, in vehicles on my way out, by the road. Maybe I go for a meeting and I'm waiting in the reception and the song is playing. But when that song was trending, I knew all the words. I never consciously sat down to listen to it. This is what happens when information comes at you repeatedly. You don't need to consciously engage it for it to stay in your mind and heart. Hi, hello, good morning, afternoon, evening, good day. Hello, welcome to the live. So as I was saying, you don't consciously. How are you doing? Oh yeah, I wanted to ask, how are you doing this Monday? Happy Monday, happy new week to you. Yeah, you don't. As I was saying, you don't consciously need to engage something for it to stay. If you put it in the background, there are podcasts I listen to, and I found that I started saying, so I speak the Korean language, so I engage with Korean content a lot. There are podcasts I listen to that I don't even pay attention to, but they're always playing in the background for my listening, for my immersion practice. And then I found that I'm saying the same things that the host say. You don't need to engage directly. It just needs to be around. And so the reason I'm starting with your phone is that's the easiest way. I know someone who puts their TikTok on auto scroll. That's a crazy amount of content coming in. So do a digital detox every day. Turn off your phone for a couple minutes, a couple hours even. Stay off the thing. Don't listen. Don't engage. Guard your mind. Guard your mind. Guard what you listen to. Guard what you receive into yourself. Hi, no, no, I won't stop. No. Guard what you listen to. Be very watchful. Be very mindful of what you let into your space. Be very mindful. Be very careful. Because this is how you guard your heart. It's how you guard your spirit. Remember, scripture tells us to guard our hearts because out of it flows the issues of life. Everything you're thinking of is pertaining to your life, and in some cases to other people's lives. So you need to guard what is in your heart. You need to guard what is in your mind. You need to guard what you let your heart accept. I've said it a lot on these lives if you've been watching me over the past 5 months. That you need to be able to cast down every imagination that is contrary to the knowledge of God. You need to hold every thought subject. You need to, and something that will help you do that is being able to separate yourself from your devices, is being able to reduce the addiction to digital information, the digital addiction, is being able to reduce it. And I'm not saying this like ignorantly. I have a business online, so I'm not saying, oh no, online is bad or the internet is bad. No, I've been a very good beneficiary of the internet. I've benefited a lot from the internet. The English was a bit the English was a bit wonky just now, but I feel like you get what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that the internet is bad. I'm just saying that you need to guard your heart, to guard your mind. Scripture tells us that if the wall is broken, the serpent will come in. So there are many things that can break the wall. Hi, Sam Carl. Welcome to the live. Happy Monday. How are you doing today? There are many things. There are many things that can break the wall. There are many things that can break the edge. There are many things that can infiltrate your mind. In fact, it might be a simple video. I'm saying, let's say you are 20, you're trying to get into university, it's not working out. It might be a simple video saying, if you're 19 and you're not yet in university, you're messing up your life. It might be that. It's a random statement. It's gonna run with you. You may even see it and scroll like, "Oof, rubbish." But that statement has gone into your mind and it's somewhere just there. It's at the back, it's marinating. On the day that the devil needs to use this information to mess up your day, he's gonna bring it right here, right front and center. And it will be all you can think about. And you will not know. The funniest part is you won't know where this thought has come from. You will just know that today I really feel like I'm I'm 20, I'm not in school yet, my life is messed up. You heard this thing, you stumbled upon this video 3 months ago, you scrolled away. You didn't stay with it, but it stayed with you. That's why you need to guard your gates. Guard your gates. It's very important that you guard your gates. Be careful what you're consuming. Be careful what you're consuming. They say girls who grow up in polygamous homes turn out so and so way, and that's a bad thing. You may not accept it in that moment, but your mind has taken it. It's somewhere there. Guard your mind. Be very particular about what you let in. It will determine what comes out of you. It will determine what you produce. And this is basically all I came to say today. Usually, I share scripture and do encouragement based on the Bible. I feel like I still shared scriptures today, but it's not the usual, like reading my Bible and reading out scriptures directly. So, but yeah, this was what was echoing in my heart today. This was what was really, really coming to me today. Hi, Janu. What's Janu? But hi, anyways. Hello. Happy Monday. And so I've said all I came to say. If you listen to this and it did anything for you, I'm blessed already because that's why I do this and I do this every day. Hello. I do this every day between 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. WAT. I rarely ever use the full hour. It's just a couple minutes like this talking on something just to encourage you and jumpstart in my time zone. I'm jumpstarting your day because it's really early, but because the time zones are different, it's just an encouragement for the day whenever you see it. And that's all I came to say today. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Have a wonderful day. Have a productive week. Bye.